It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
And a fine Saturday morning to you both, Ocean, Tommy.
Oh, what a pleasure.
We are here Saturday matineeing again.
Good morning, Mr. Wright.
Can you believe what happened on Friday night? Ugh.
I can't.
Wow.
Oh, it really spun my head around.
You're going to want to talk about it, Pete. Go ahead.
Welcome to the Next Reel Saturday Matinee, our weekly show where the Next Reel team gets together to talk about news, reviews, new trailers, our weekly challenges, and so much more. And as I am wont to do, when there is news about Quibi, we have to talk Quibi Corner. Cue the theme song, intern.
It's Quibi Corner. We're no longer a thing.
Okay. So there are two bits of Quibi Corner news. This is one of my very favorites, which is that Quibi announced on Tuesday that they have just released an Apple TV app for the Quibi service. Now, that's fantastic news because that means you can sign up in the Apple TV app and you can watch and stream now Quibi content directly to your giant television, which is what so many people have really been asking for. I think you could say they've just really, this phone thing is dumb and just give us to say, wait, record scratch. Now it's Wednesday and Quibi's out of business. They are
This is that part of the trailer. I knew that.
That's right. They are shutting down. In a case of incredibly bad timing, Quibi is shutting down. They could not sell it off even after raising $1.8 billion and putting together just a catalog of stars, which I will forever question their ability to think critically about the projects that they work on.
Making that announcement of we're headed to the big screen and then stopping is like playing poker and say, I raise and I fold.
It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. I learned something new. I haven't learned anything new about Quibi the entire time we've been talking about Quibi until I learned this week this bit of news. And I kind of have to now. I've been trying not to dance on the grave of Quibi and since the day it launched. But then I found that, in fact, where I sent it to you as a screenshot, didn't I, Tom? So this is what I learned from Luke X. Cunningham, who learned Quibi made their episodes, and he says that in quotes, 11 minutes to avoid paying union writers.
Right.
Everyone should MC Hammer Dance on their grave by playing credits between each act. Instead of commercials, Quibi claimed a 10-minute episode was actually 40, quote, low-budget under 12-minute episodes, end quote, allowing them to skirt SAG Actors Union and WGA Writers Union minimums. They were a scab-based business model.
Wow. What jerks.
Sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. That is maybe the like. I wish that I had known that when I started Quibi Corner, because this would have had a much different tone.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they're dead.
As Ocean often says, of those we've lost, I'm glad they're dead. Now it's Ocean's Corner. Great.
That, I think, marks the end of Quibi Corner.
Wow.
Put a fork in it. We are done.
Wow. That does make me feel better about it. Not that I felt worse or anything. I felt nothing about any of it. Who was it that said everyone in the world watched The Princess Bride? Oh, Mandy. Lambasted us for something that I had never heard of at all. Yeah, I know. All I know is that the billboard, it's not even a billboard, it's a bus board, meaning it just lives in the little glass case next to the bus stop across the street from my PetSmart, has clearly been bought for the rest of time by Quibi. Because I walk by and there's a new show every single day. And it's like Christopher Waltz and it's called like Jacket. And I'm like, I don't know what that's about. Oh. And then it's like, Anna Kendrick and she's like yogurt. And I'm like, what? Now you're just naming things. I'm wondering how long they will still change posters.
Noun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's terrible. You know what that's called? The bus thing? You know what that's called? It's a vestibule.
Really?
And I know that because I did a bit a while ago where I was getting royalties for appearances in bus vestibules.
Wait, really?
That's right. Yeah. No, that's
You
real.
were like in a print shoot, or
I was.
wow,
Yeah.
you get royalties for print shoots?
Not anymore. It was part of a whole campaign, and it kept running.
Apple?
And I was on cable, and it was the Apple thing.
That was a long time ago, but so
That
adorable.
was it was 20 years. Yeah, I know. But it was a vestibule. That's what you get when you get a little printout. It says ... bus
You got
vestibules.
that vestibule money. Woo!
Oh, sweet, hot vestibule money. What do you want to talk about next? You want to talk about Cinemark?
Sure.
Sure.
What they got going on?
Well, it's an interesting concept, right? And so, the Cinemark has sold over 22,000 private watch parties, and so what they're doing is they are renting out theaters for $99 a pop, right? So the idea is that you'd have about the minimum I think is 10 people. Right, you have to have a minimum of 10 people to then rent out these theaters, and that you can rent them theaters. So that way you could go see a movie in the theater with you and 10 of your friends that are in your bubble.
Oh wow, that sounds dope.
So the people are actually doing the private watch parties, and so it looks like it's being successful, because I admittedly was a naysayer to it at first, because I still had apparently early COVID restrictions in my head, or thoughts in my head of like, well, I don't have my bubble doesn't necessarily include 10 people, and even if it does, are we going to agree on a movie? And will everybody want to see Tenet?
Yeah. And don't get me started on snacks. No,
exactly.
I have no bubble. I'm just excited because my ArcLight Sherman Oaks is across the street from a hospital.
Yeah, well, so I like the idea of this. I like the idea of having it where can help theaters stay in business. And anything that's good for that is good for entertainment things coming out. It's not going to drive enough business that these movies that have been delayed are then going to come out for this. But it is an interesting thing of where it's like, well, you have to have that many people that you're comfortable with being in an indoor enclosed space for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and watch the movie. But price wise, the $99 price point is good, and I like that. But I don't have.
And I guess you could sit like each of your friends sit in a different row, but then it's starting to miss the point of a fun get together.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is starting to miss. Yeah, definitely misses the point of that. But then also, it is an enclosed, not super well ventilated place, right?
Yeah.
So you have to. So the people that you're going with, you better be really comfortable with that you're doing that. And so and then I think that they're going to have this initial salvo that comes out. These 22,000 private watch parties will all watch Tenet. And then after they've seen it, then it'll probably die back down.
Either it'll die back down, or it'll become the new norm. Like, this is what happened to karaoke, right? Like, there are still karaoke bars, but really, when you want to karaoke, you get with your friends and you go get a room. Get a room. It's the best way to okie.
It's the best way to okie?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, okie means something.
That's all right. A minute ago, you said
right.
Dope, Tom, and I won't have it.
You don't like dope? Oh, that's true.
I'm not sure it works I'm not sure it works for you.
Well, that's cool. I would like to do that if I had friends that I trusted.
Exactly.
No, I have tons of friends to trust, but I don't even trust myself. I mean, I'm not doing anything. I did just get back from a vacation with my parents. We super quarantined and all got. They drove.
You shared a biome.
They drove from Colorado, and I drove from here to Carpinteria, California, which is a fancy beach city about an hour and a half from me and 8,000 hours from them. So they deserve all the credit. But then we just had our own Airbnb, which had been cleaned, and when I showed up, they had me re-clean it. And then it's a gated community, so it's not like the beach was crazy. And it was really nice. It was the most human thing I've done other than go to a socially distanced wedding since March. And I hugged my mom. Jealous?
So jealous.
Yeah, exactly. Very much so. I haven't hugged my mom in quite some time.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so it was very nice, and I loved it a lot. But either way, I'm not going to movies with those fools.
I was going to ask, like, did you guys run out of theater too? And
yeah, we rented out 3
Sunny
different
Carpinteria.
theaters. It was not economical at all. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of running out the end of a bit, let's talk about Fast and the Furious.
Oh,
and they're taking it up to 11. So the Fast and the Furious. So I put this out there, but they was I really like the Fast and Furious has F9 as the new Fast and Furious movie is called has been delayed a year. It's supposed to come out in May of this year, and now it's was April, then May, and now of next year. So so that way we'll all get our Vin Diesel fix then. But so what they've decided is they were going to end the franchise at 10, and they decided, well, this story is too complicated to boil it down to one movie like that, right? So what you need
the whole
is
plot is one loose angle. What are they talking
you need to split this into 2 movies, so that way you can let all the complex plot points breathe, and then culminate finally in F11, right? So so that, and also it allows you to have a couple of nice Monty Python jokes about taking it up to 11, but also it gives a nice round number. So instead of just 1, there will be 3. So instead of only 2 more, you will now get 3 more Fast and the Furious movies. And as much as I like to make fun of these, I watch every one of them. I love them. They are great. It is some perfect entertainment for about 2 hours that you will forget about 2 hours later. So then they become rewatchable because they're all the plots are the same. None of the stuff matters. Logic is irrelevant, and they're great fun. So I'm looking forward to watching all 3 of them.
I don't like your tone, Tom.
They'll use the sequels to add a few more characters. Yikes. Every movie is 900 people in it.
There is an internet rumor floating around that they're going to bring back one of the characters that died in 2 of the movies. So he died in 2 twice. Yeah, there's a character Han. Han. He's a Han. He's a great character. He died in Fast and the Furious 3. Then they brought him back in 4 because that was in the previous time. Then they carried that along, and then they killed him again in I don't remember if it was the end of Fast 5, 6. I think it was the end of 6 where they killed him again. So that allowed them to bring Jason Statham in, who apparently got to kill one of their best friends, hunts them down for a bit, but now he hangs with them and they all roll together. Does that make sense? No.
Because it was such a
absolutely. Yeah. And that's what these movies
because they had that comical office fight when they were in it was great. It was a comedy bit of furiosity.
It was, yeah.
I am here for all of the Jason Lin, especially the Jason Lin or Justin Lin Fast and Furious. He leveled up a lot of what was already a just ridiculous concept and film. I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it any less fun to think about the fact that the movie was too complicated that they had to split it up. I can't with this thing.
Too much.
Do you think he's still going to be all about family? I don't care. I like the one that was kind of like a heist.
Yes.
That was a good one. That was like kind of almost...
Was that the same one where they threw them out of the planes? They threw the cars out of the planes? That was early on.
That was the next one. You're talking about Fast. Okay. I think it was Fast 5 was the one where they went to Brazil.
That was almost a legitimately good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, and I cried about Paul Walker.
Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he
Yeah, he died in real life, and that was sad that they, had this. That was
the saddest.
Yes.
Yeah. So that part was sad, but
I think it's Spinal Tap that takes it up to 11. That's my only other note.
It absolutely is, and I think that's I want to say somewhere I know someone thought, hey, this is part of why we're going to do 11,
right?
To just be able to say that about this franchise,
just to do that,
okay.
because it was marketing.
Yes,
and since the entire franchise is driven by marketing,
absolutely,
it's great. Okay, I want to. When do we get to talk about Ted Lasso?
I would love to talk about Ted Lasso now. Have either of you seen Ted Lasso?
No, I've heard good things, and I love Jason Sudeikis.
Yes. So
I've almost finished my second complete watch through.
Oh, okay. So you see, then you're even further ahead than I am.
It is my favorite thing that has ever been put on television in terms of like a thematic comedy.
It is insanely good. Yes, we got it. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's a television show they put out, and I'll admit I discovered it this weekend. The wife and I were like, "What do you want to watch?" And like, "Well, we'll just throw this on to see what it is," because we had some time to but we thought we'd throw it on as a background show, and
it's not a background show.
It's not a background show. So it is. So A is funny. And B, it is probably the most heartfelt show that I've ever seen. In that, the premise. Let me back up. The premise of the show is Ted Lasso is he's a Division II college football coach, and he has been hired to coach a fictitious in America, Division II football in America, and he's been hired to coach a fictitious premier soccer team in England. And so, of course, it's, you start off with the regular fish out of water impression, the fish out of water story. He has no idea about soccer, anything about soccer. He's like, we're going to do the best we can, win or lose. And then they say, the reporters tell him tie. And he's like, oh yeah, you guys tie too. Right. So he's learning everything as he goes, but, and he's completely out of his depth, but his character is not only funny, but the nicest person ever.
Oh,
right.
that's
And
nice.
he overcomes he overcomes various roadblocks and obstacles by basically overcomes it with niceness and overcomes it with this sweetness and this warm-heartedness. And the show, one of the things it does with the comedic beats, usually shows like this are cynical. Right. Anytime,
Right.
something bad is going to happen or something, there can be a conflict. They come up with a cynical way to do it. Or it's like, I must win and hurt your feelings and make you look bad so then I feel better and everything's great. But
Or
then
the person, the fish out of water, is for no reason an overconfident idiot.
Exactly.
Like a Michael Scott or every Will Ferrell character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
and the thing is, Ted Lasso is in some ways a little bit of an overconfident idiot, but his heart is in such the right place. He's
That's great.
overconfident about his ability to coach people. He doesn't care about wins and losses and things like that, but he's all about the relationships of people, making everybody be a better version of whatever person they can be. And so the show is amazing in that it not only makes you laugh, but then whenever problems are being resolved, you're actually then smiling and you're kind of rooting for everybody through this process. And so I cannot recommend this show highly enough. It is by far it's the greatest single camera sitcom I've seen in years.
Wow. All right.
It is. Have you finished it?
I have not. We did the first 4 and then we stopped for a minute and then we're like, okay, we're going to watch it later. And now it's almost like the special jewel. We're like saving it for a weekend so we can really, sit down and focus on it.
I've gushed about this everywhere because I love it so much. And it's one of those that on now the second watch, it is every bit as rewarding, especially watching it with people who haven't seen it before, because by episode 2 or 3, there is this just perma-fixed face of joy planted on their faces. Like it's just incredible how quickly you buy into this. And it surprises me a little bit that you're gushing as much and you haven't seen episodes 8 or 9.
No. Is that how long
what I
it
love
is? 9 episodes?
It's 10 episodes for the first season. And Tommy, I'm telling you, by episode 10, it feels it's already been signed for a second season. I honestly don't care. Like I could be finished and just make this it's a perfect 10 episodes of wonder. But there is some writing in here that is stuff I want to study. It is a show that in terms of a narrative structure, it takes goodness and kindness and demonstrates that it can be as complex and emotionally enveloping as any of our that sort of sardonic sort of celebration of what you guys were talking about earlier about the Schadenfreude, right? Like it's not funny if it doesn't hurt. Well, it turns out it's funny if it doesn't hurt if you do it right. And these guys, man, they do it right. And so Brendan Hunt and Joe Kelly and Jason Sudeikis and Bill Lawrence, like this team, they deserve whatever they get, and they should get all of it. Phoebe Walsh and Brett Goldstein. And I should also say that Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt, Sudeikis obviously plays Ted Lasso, and Brendan Hunt plays Coach Beard. And as a pair, they are incredible. They've figured out so quickly how to become a perfect on-screen duo. I cannot celebrate this enough. This everybody in the show is great.
Man, oh man.
You know how you feel about Community, Tom? Yeah. Welcome to Ted Lasso.
Okay.
And the other thing too, even from a broader audience perspective as well, and I'll just throw this in for people that aren't into sports, you really don't have to know anything about soccer to appreciate this movie. This show,
like how
other
sportsy
than
is it?
you need to understand that soccer is a game that is played on grass and that you score points to win, and that's it.
Okay,
that's you now know that
it's not
all
about.
You have to understand is that right there that it happens, and so and even when they talk about it in the games, it's like, okay, we're going to play a game, and then cut to the game's over, and that now we're and where they're.
I would say also, I mean, just get ready for some fantastic just breakouts, because Juno Temple, I want her to be in everything. Toheeb Jimo plays Sam Obasanya, however it's pronounced, and he is a joy to watch in everything he does. Nick Muhammad plays Nate the Great, and he is just fantastic. These are names to watch. Hannah Waddingham has been around for a long time. She plays Rebecca, and she is fantastic. These people, I think we're going to see them everywhere. This is going to be one of those shows. It was just a sleeper, and now it is. It's really worth it. And Brene Brown did a whole show dedicated to Brendan Hunt and
about humility
and
or
Sudeikis, about the Ted Lassoification of goodness and kindness in our journey for mental health. Yeah, no, she's like up in it. This is that good. I know we've set the bar officially way too high. You know what, Tom? It's really kind of a dumpster fire. I hope you find something redeeming out of it. That's your job.
Because you said Brene Brown is up in it, and that made me uncomfortable. I don't even know why it made me uncomfortable, but it made me uncomfortable. I was like,
and Tommy, I'm gonna contradict what Pete just said. We set the bar at the right place.
Wow,
this show is that great.
I have written Ted Lasso and covered it in stars.
All right,
and this yellow stick.
That's how Ted Lasso would do it.
I'm going to eat this yellow sticky. And tomorrow when I start choking, I'll be like, "Why am I?" And then I'll be like, "Oh right, Ted Lasso." So good, because I bought an Apple TV, like the little Roku-ish thing, so I have a whole free year of Apple TV. Yeah. And now instead of rewatching Servant, just kidding, I wasn't watching that. I will watch Ted Lasso.
I think I'm watching the screensaver behind you right now.
Oh, yes.
You are. It's the Earth. Here's something that I wanted to ask about this. Do you think that satellite is like up in space going, man, I'm solving so many crimes and there's no spies getting away on my watch. Look out, Russia. And instead he has no idea, or she, that it's just in charge of letting me look at the Earth when I'm not watching like the British Bake Off. I don't want to tell it. I want it to have its own dreams. But I bet that satellite is like, G.I. Joe, or whatever satellites sing when they're all proud of themselves. And I'm like, yeah, in 5 seconds, you're going to be like octopuses or whales. Settle down.
Okay. That was an excellent segue to whatever comes next.
Trailers.
Let's do trailers. I want to talk. I can't believe that nobody has brought this up just because of who is in it. And when I say nobody, I mean Andy. It's his fault. I'm surprised he hasn't just barged in here to
this recording.
Tell us about News of the World starring Tom Hanks, the one and only Tom Hanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, and I'm here tonight to read the news from across this great world of ours.
So they pay you to tell stories. I ain't never heard of that as a thing a man could do.
It's not a rich man's occupation, as you can see.
Hey! Stop! Stop! I'm not gonna hurt you!
Do you understand English?
Đâu vậy Colbert?
Friend. It says your name is Johanna Leonberger. Indians took you when they attacked your family 6 years prior. The mother, father, and sister were... well, they passed.
It is a Western drama written... Sorry. Co-written and directed by Paul Greengrass. Oh, Paul. What's happened?
Why are you angry at Paul?
I'm not angry at Paul, but I just okay.
The Bourne movies, or it's like what?
He's the Bourne movie.
Like,
what are you doing?
Was that the
Paul?
Do you feel that was the upswing of his career or downswing?
Well, yeah, I'm worried that it was the upswing.
Okay.
I would love to see more. I would love to see. Okay, enough. Back to the trailer. This is News of the World. This thing. It is Tom Hanks. He is in this movie. He plays Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, and it's essentially it's a journey movie. He's got this girl who doesn't speak English, and he's taking her across country to return her to her people. He is a Civil War veteran, and the girl was originally kidnapped by the Kiowa people. And so he is taking her hundreds of miles through the dangerous terrain to find a place that they can call home. And I'm telling you, I watched this movie. I want so much of this movie. I mean, the trailer. I watched the trailer. I want so much of it. And I thought, this is, am I being sedated right now? What is going on in this movie? I am so bored. I'm so bored with this trailer. This is not provocative. Tom, I just watched Greyhound, also Apple TV. Yes. And it was the movie that he wrote about the battleship. And I thought it was the same thing. Like, I felt like this movie has so much potential. I want so much of this movie. And I am not connecting to it. I have no emotional connection to this movie. As you can tell, I can barely remember their names.
Wait a minute. So for the Civil War, so with this News of the World thing, I'm kind of with you here. I actually cringed about it for different reasons, which we can discuss. But you didn't like Greyhound either?
Yeah, I was just bored. I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It was
the
fine.
Whole way.
Edge of your seat.
Yes, once they get the trips and you get to the pit, and then from then on, it's straight up. The U-boats are hunting them down, and the Germans are taunting him on the radio. He can't stop to eat. He can't stop to do anything. He has to command his troops and everything like that. It's a really complicated process to get everything going, especially back then with everything's analog and their orders have to be repeated 3 or 4 times. I mean, that movie was.
If I have to think about Captain Tom Hanks' feet and his blisters and slippers one more time, I'm going to eat those slippers.
Look,
Ocean.
That was after a full night on his feet, commanding the troops, trying to keep them alive and get the troops safely across so they can fight in World War II.
All right, back to News of the World.
All right, back to News of the World.
Pete, when I watched, I'm glad to hear, because I was afraid you're going to be like, oh my God, my pick of the year. I watched this trailer, and it looks like a fake trailer that's in another movie. It looks like it is far from being finished. The CGI is a disaster, and it looks like it's all like too tight, and it's like, I feel like they've only really shot 8% of it. And so they're really like leaning on, and then at the very end he goes, and that's the news of the world. Like, this newspaper thing has nothing to do with this girl who's like, horse, and he's like, great, you nailed it. Like, it's so weird. The fact that it said Paul Greengrass, I was like, oh man, because he is quality. What's happening? I think that they've released this trailer way too early because it just doesn't look ready or real or anything. The title right now is a disaster because they just have to have someone randomly say, well, knock, knock, who's there? News of the world. I don't understand why it's trying to be the postman, and there's no I think it's so weird. I think that they're flooding it.
I felt exactly the same way.
Christmas.
I can't believe you guys were giving me trouble about saying, oh, I'm worried about Paul Greengrass. And then this is exactly my point. Paul Greengrass, what are you doing with Tom Hanks? This is just like magical goodness material that you are working with. And what is going on with what's weird. Coming out of it? This trailer is nonsense.
Anytime he's a captain, he has to sign on to the movie. This is like his ninth captain. And this one, he didn't even read the script. Like originally it was the horse talking. No, this one looks really weird. And but so weird, I feel it's just not ready. It wasn't ready. They're faking a Christmas release. It's going to get maybe sold to Apple or something like that, just like Greyhound was. I don't know what's happening, but it's really weird looking.
I don't think Apple TV's going to take this.
There we go.
Yeah, Apple TV goes, this isn't a high enough quality product.
You old curmudgeon. I feel better now. Thank you. All right. Who's next? It's Ocean.
I'm next.
What do you got?
And
this, on the other hand, looks ready and good and like a movie should. That wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it did.
Yes. Well, my movie is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And so with a title like that, I had to know what's going on here.
A 1, a 2, a you know what to do. This would be an empty world without the blues. I try to take that emptiness and fill it up with something.
They want to call me Mother Blues. That's all right with me. It don't hurt none.
Way down south and
Where's the horn player?
I got a friend.
Come on, Levy. You rehearse like everybody else.
I'm gonna get me a band and make me some records. I knows how to play real music, not this jug band shit.
You call that playing music?
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Go on and fire me, I don't care.
When I got there, they began to say.
That's to get the people's attention. That's when you and Slow Drag come in with the rhythm part. Me and Cutler play on the break.
And it is, so the synopsis of the movie is it's based in Chicago, 1927 at a recording session. And the tensions are rising between Ma Rainey, her ambitious horn player, and the white management determined to control the uncontrollable mother of the blues. And it's based on a Pulitzer Prize winner August Wilson's play. So Ma Rainey is considered the mother of the blues. She is a real blues singer from the 20s. She was born as Gertrude Pridgett. And so this story looks good. Not only the trailer looks good as far as what they're showing. There's it looks great from the actors. I mean, Viola Davis looks great. Great and very entertaining. I actually didn't recognize her at first until she started kind of talking, and then even she did some of her movements, and then I started realizing that's from How to Get Away with Murder. I know that actress anywhere, right? And then and then because she has these, she's made up to look more of the time of the 20s. She has a mouthful of fake metal teeth, as you would have back then.
And those cheekbones. She's got those cheeks.
Yes. And so she looks great. And it is also Chadwick Boseman's last film performance. It's his last performance. And he looks great. And it is being a young horn player who is trying to figure out how does he also make his mark. And he has ambitions too. He's not there just to be Ma Rainey's horn player. He also wants to then, advance his career and, and get more of his ring so he can be more of a star. And the setting of the movie that I found as well has the format looks very entertaining in that the entire movie is going to take place, this is what I read, in the course of a day. It's in the course of a recording session, and that there are stories being told by one character to another. And so you see the rest of the movie in flashbacks as far as that's how they build in the plot and the tension among the characters and everything that you then see in this recording session. So it looks, to me, looks very entertaining. And I do like that they are telling the story of someone who was a true, a real 1920s blues singer. She was very influential. She was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990. She has a postage stamp in her honor. In 1994, her song "Sea Rider Blues" was placed into the Library of Congress. And so Ma Rainey has had a massive effect as far as the influence of blues and music over the past 100 years.
I've seen the play, the August Wilson play, on stage, and it's very good, and it's interesting. It leads me into the kind of movie that I like that traditionally studios don't. Traditionally, studios have always had a rule: if it would make a good play, it makes a terrible movie. It was
like Fences. We just dealt with that.
I think that's such short thinking. But this, I think, would lend itself with a smart directing. And it looks like he's doing a great job. I don't know a ton of the director's work, but I know one. Director's name is George C. Wolfe, and he directed Lackawanna Blues for HBO 8 million years ago. And I really loved that movie. I thought that had so much style and so much presence and confidence for someone that really hadn't done that much before. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Chadwick Boseman, it's interesting and sad that his portrayal of this character and his age is really accentuated by what his illness was doing to his body as they were shooting. Right, he is a smaller man than he's ever been.
Yes.
He had lost so much weight, and you can just see it. He's just swimming in his clothes, but it also really works for that character.
It does. It does. And and
hell of a way to go out.
Yeah, and it looks like and honestly, even with the character, it looks like you would think that had Chad Boseman not tragically died, you would think, hey, he's just a really committed actor that lost a bunch of weight for the role, and then he's going to bulk back up for Black Panther 2, But yeah, his size was from that. Although, and there is, the buzz that, Chadwick Boseman has, kind of now from a movie credit standpoint, ended with a couple of really great movies. Right, he had the supporting role in The Five Bloods, where he was great, and then he's going to have the supporting / lead role in this movie, and so there's already talk about whether or not he would be nominated for an Oscar for one, if not both.
Wow.
Roles.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
Yep.
Tommy, what do you got? Oh man,
yeah, this movie it's a documentary. It's called Fireball, and it's that old weirdo Werner Herzog saying, "Have you thought much about meteorites?" Roll the clip. Are we doing clips?
Throughout history, meteorites have captivated human imagination. Each one of these stones from darker worlds has its own story. And the bigger ones have changed entire landscapes. But they also have left a deep impact on cultures. Our voyage took us to wherever large fireballs had plunged down to Earth.
I mainly am excited about this movie for two reasons. One, I truly enjoy listening to Werner Herzog talk.
What if the penguins are coming to kill you?
Have you ever tasted a meteorite? It tastes just like the sun's fear. And you're like, what? What are you talking about, Werner? And he's like, I'd be pretty good at the dinner party. I find him fascinating all the time. And what I liked about this is, for something that seems to be cobbled together from what I counted, maybe 6 set pieces that they just filmed the S word out of, it's still very like, you know what's cool? Meteorite impacts. You know what's exciting? Meteor impacts. You know what we can all relate to in a way that weirdly had me cheering? Kind of like what you were going with about Ted Lasso, about isn't it nice to have something about the world uniting in a time when we are the most fractious ever, that it was just sort of this, of like a bunch of people being like, we're Stardust, and what? And the whole time Werner Herzog's like, do you know what meteorite is spelled backwards? And you're like, shut up, Werner. But it just looks really pretty. It's Apple TV, so I got a free here, as I already said. I'm probably going to go back and forth between Ted Lasso and Fireball. But I think it's a basically interesting idea. And I've never thought about the idea that something like meteorites can really tell a story about the human race. And I'm in. He films really beautiful documentaries, as has latest been seen in the hey, here's a cave painting. I don't remember what it was called. Do you remember what it was called?
I don't remember what it was called.
All about cave paintings and about how it's important to look at them because they all are talking about meteorites. What if he's just been talking about meteorites this whole time?
I gotta tell you, Tommy, they should hire you for their marketing, because when I saw this trailer,
you're like, what's the point? Yeah,
I was like, hey, that looks like an interesting topic. Skip.
Yeah.
And now,
Cave of Forgotten Dreams.
And now hearing you talk about it, I'm like, oh, well, if it's like that, then maybe I would check it out. But it looked more like it wasn't interesting for me personally. It was more like it's an interesting idea.
Yes.
Okay, you're then going to take the idea of meteorites, but it's not. The other part of that equation, which to me looked like they're not only looking at it scientifically, they're also looking at it in terms of how does it affect mythology and religious significance throughout time, and how meteor impacts have been incorporated in various cultures in throughout history.
And that's my entry point. That's when I'm like, because I love the oral tradition, I love folklore, I love all that stuff. So I'd like to see it past just it being made of the sun's fear or whatever I said before.
Yeah. It was Cave of Forgotten Dreams.
Cave of Forgotten Dreams. I was close. What did I say? Hey, there's a cave.
He learned that they were all painted with mayonnaise. It was amazing. He's incredible. When do we get to see it? When does it drop?
We'll never know. I always forget to do that one part. Every week, I'm asked to do so little. October 16th, 2020. Nope. Clearly, that's when this was uploaded. November 13th, Pete, on Apple TV Plus.
Excellent. Oh, yes. I can't wait. Way to go.
Everyone
all right.
should go out and see my movie. It's about rocks, but they come from space. So they seem like they'd be hot, but they're probably cold. Oh, I'm Werner Herzog.
You know, now I want to watch you narrate this. That's really
I kind of do. God, if you could take over for every nature documentary. I got a draft. Are you ready?
You have a draft. What does that mean?
Like
we're gonna do a draft. You know, it's election season, everybody, and I thought we are, as you said, Tommy, we're divided as a nation, and I thought, what better time to take just a few moments together, the three of us, and walk through some of America's favorite fake presidents.
Oh, like
and
we did
see
for the spooky monsters. We're deciding.
That's exactly right. Except for this time, we're talking about our favorite fake presidents. Since we've lived through the last 4 years with a fake president, what do you think would happen if one of these fake presidents actually took over as commander-in-chief?
Oh.
I have 16 fake presidents, and I'm going to run down them quickly now, and then we shall draft them and see who is our purported next fake president, according to the next reel.
Draft or like a final four? Like we're going to pick like a...
Yeah, it's like final four. Final four.
Awesome. All right.
Except for it's a final one, because we will end with a president.
Okay.
Here we go. We're going to start with President Mackenzie Allen. That's Gina Davis in Commander-in-Chief. And that is
obviously the 16 seed.
Okay.
Yes, right. It's 16th seed. And running against President Selena Meyer, the very popular Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Veep.
Why are we even talking? It's Selena Meyer. 100%
do you want to hear them all first?
Oh, I thought
I'll give you all of them.
I thought you did 16 versus 1, and then you just do,
yeah, it is. Okay.
All right. I'm just going to say all 16.
No, just save some time. Just save some time. Hey, I'm with you. I stand with Ocean. Hashtag.
So
okay.
You put the...
Is there any conversation about Mackenzie Allen and Selena?
Are we voting on who would be a good president for America, or are we voting for who we like more in their pop culture doodah? Ocean, here's what we have to decide. I think we should decide who would be the better person for America, because otherwise we're just talking about personal taste. That's my thinking. What do you think, Pete? What do you think, Ocean? You're the only two voices other than mine. And I'm going to ask Werner.
I was definitely going with which president I liked better. Because,
for instance, I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Veep. She's also horrible as a candidate. Like, she's terrible and she's narcissistic and probably more like most things. And I don't know what Commander-in-Chief is, so I don't. What do you think?
Yeah, Gina Davis is a very different portrayal of the president. She's very serious.
What do you want to do, Ocean? It's up to us.
Yeah, it is kind of up to us. I think that really, honestly, either way, I would probably still pick Veep, because I don't, the characteristics that you described with Selena Meyer, I don't think that those are unique to her. I think that you would find that in just about, a lot of those characters you'd find that in most, not only politicians, but presidents. And so and also she, that show, I guess I'm also biased because that show to me is one of the holy trinity of how people view politics through entertainment.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that especially when that show was out, The West Wing was had shortly ended, House of Cards was out, and Veep was out.
Right.
And most people viewed, through entertainment, you kind of viewed our real politicians as one of three ways. Were they like Martin Sheen's White House, where they were, smart people that were trying to do the right thing and idealistic and hopefully, working for the betterment of the country? Were they like Kevin Spacey's character? Oh goodness, I'm blanking on his name from House of Cards.
We're not allowed to talk about
it. So from House of Cards, where they
hands down your pants was his
okay, name. Yeah. So that was not the character's name.
Well, just hold on, because we're going to be talking about them in just a minute. But what do you think that means for this pick?
So I vote that what we decide is it's a slight mix of both. Who, and you don't even have to say whether you like Trump or not, but who you would like to, if we had to pick one of these people, you would like to be the next president after Trump. You're not allowed to vote for Biden. You have to vote for one of these fictionals.
Got it. Okay. That works for me. That makes it easy. Let's try that. You have to vote for them as the next president.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Got it.
That's good.
All right.
All right.
Selena Meyer.
Selena Meyer.
Okay, Selena Meyer it is. Our next dueling presidents. President Thomas J. Whitmore, that's Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
Oh, he was good.
Versus President Josiah Jed Bartlett, Martin Sheen in The West Wing.
Gotta be Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's a tougher... I mean, Martin Sheen's going to be tough to lose.
It is, unless aliens invade, in which case I'm gonna want Bill Pullman.
We're gonna go back for Pullman.
Yeah, but until the aliens invade, I'm gonna go Martin Sheen the whole way.
Yeah. All right. The President, played by Billy Bob Thornton in Love Actually.
Oh, right.
Versus President Benjamin Asher, Aaron Eckhart in Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh. I'm going to have to say Aaron Eckhart, Olympus Has Fallen, because Billy Bob Thornton was the epitome of ugly American in American imperialism and exceptionalism in Love Actually. So I would have to go. We have enough of that. So I'm personally going to go with Aaron Eckhart, Ocean.
I have not seen either of those, so I'm going to I will concede my time to the gentleman from California.
Well, then I'm reclaiming my time, and I'm going to say exactly what I said, even louder. And yet I persisted. Timely.
The next one is President James Dale. That would be Jack Nicholson in his portrayal of president in Mars Attacks.
Oh, wow.
Versus President, you're forgiven in advance if you haven't seen this, President Marcus Robbins. Anybody know where that comes from?
I do not.
That'd be Mark Cuban's portrayal of the president in Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No.
It was called Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No?
Yeah, they had a real slammer at the end of that. They put a bang at the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sharknado 3, oh. So many.
Mark Cuban
did Cuban
played the president.
Die in the Sharknado 3 as the president, or did he?
I watched clips.
Yeah,
That's not great.
I didn't even see
I don't know if he died.
So,
I'm sure he died.
I hated Jack Nicholson's character in that president. I thought he was so sleazy so much in Mars Attacks. I'm just going to vote for the other guy.
I'm going to go with Mark Cuban because I loved Shark Tank.
Oh, I see where you're going with that.
This podcast should go on Shark Tank. It'll be a hard pass, but we should still do it.
Okay, how about President David Palmer, played by Dennis Haysbert in 24?
Yeah.
But you haven't even heard who he's
you mean
running
the
against.
first black president on a major television show?
Oh, that guy.
I mean, is he running against Jesus?
No,
I mean,
he's not bad.
Who you think I'm going to pick?
He's running against President Andrew Shepard, played by Michael Douglas in The American President.
Ooh, Michael Douglas was great. David Palmer.
Adorable.
Yes, he was great. That was awesome. It was nice seeing a president figure out how to, get a girlfriend. But David Palmer.
Tommy.
So he wasn't the president that turned out to be a mole.
No, that was 2 or 3 presidents later in 24.
Got it. I joined 24 much later. Is he the one, my apologies, is he the one that also sells car insurance? I like him. Let's do him. He's great.
Sorry, Michael. I thought that was going to be harder than does he sell insurance? I like him. Next, we've got President James Marshall. That'd be Harrison Ford in Air Force One.
Oh, the fighting president. All right.
Going up against President Merkin Muffley. That's Peter Sellers and Dr. Strangelove.
Harrison Ford.
Air Force One.
Yeah.
Yeah, Air Force One. Yeah.
Seriously, Peter Sellers.
I know, but if only because he's in color.
In the round table. Oh, all right. How about President Beck? That would be Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact.
Ooh.
Or President James Sawyer. That'd be Jamie Foxx in White House Down.
I'm on the record for being a Deep Impact over Armageddon fan, and I am the one. But I love that Ellie turned out to be extinction level event and not a mistress. Smart writing that has weirdly been copied 3 more times in popular fiction.
Right? Ellie's very popular.
No, I will definitely go with Morgan Freeman. And I just watched Now You See Me 2 again. So I've got a soft spot for Morgan Freeman.
For old Morgan. All right.
I do, and also I give him kudos in the movie, the idea that you have to then make a speech that informs everybody, hey, this is the end of the world.
Yeah.
And deliver that in a believable manner where you're just saying, hey, this is it. It's going to hit us. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
So he pulls one up on Jamie Foxx. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the epitome
All
of
right.
smoke 'em if you got 'em, jerks.
All right. And our final in the 16 seed here is Dave Kovich, played by Kevin Kline in the movie Dave.
Oh, so adorable. He caught
And
a
he
fish
is-
this big.
Wait, the actual president or the impersonator
Well,
that became him?
I have him as the impersonator.
Impersonator.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good point, though.
And he's going up against President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho,
Idiocracy.
Terry Crews in Idiocracy.
For the betterment of the country, I'm going to have to go with Dave, but I like both picks.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you included him in this.
All
Well,
right.
if we're going with the impersonator, I consider it an equally horrible choice, but
but he caught a fish this big.
he wasn't the actual president, so he was just some dude, right?
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah, I
Good
go with
point.
Dave.
All right, Dave.
Okay. So that puts us in our second round where we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus, that's President Selena Meyer and Veep, against Jed Bartlett,
Jed
The
Bartlett.
West Wing.
Bartlett. I don't know if we're going to beat him.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
He had to be in here.
Of
You know,
course.
he had to be
Absolutely.
in here.
I would
Of
have
course.
been enraged.
So now we're done.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at President Benjamin Asher, Aaron Eckhart in Olympus Has Fallen versus President Marcus Robbins. That's Mark Cuban in Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no.
Mark Cuban. Because at least
Yes.
Mark Cuban's
'cause
going to make it to the
Mark
final
Cuban
round.
Isn't a punk that gets taken down by terrorists. He gets taken down by flying sharks. More like, oh, hell yes.
How about President David Palmer, Dennis Haysbert in 24 versus President James Marshall, Harrison Ford, Air Force One.
David Palmer.
I think I'm going to say, what do we do if there's a tie? I think I'm going to say Harrison Ford, but it's close.
Wouldn't Pete break the tie?
I don't know. He made the
Okay.
list.
I know.
Yeah,
I made the
yeah,
list.
Oh, so you can't.
How did we do it last time? I don't know what the
Do we
rules
do
are.
the rock paper scissors?
You should rock, paper,
Rock, paper,
scissors. That's
scissors?
what you should do.
All right.
Tom's great
Okay.
at rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
One,
One,
two,
two,
three.
three.
Rock.
Rock.
One,
Paper.
paper. Oh, we do it right away. I always forget that we do it right away. Here we go. 1, 2, 3
Okay.
again. One,
Okay.
two,
One,
three.
Three.
Scissors. Woo! Get off my plane.
Okay,
Ocean.
it's James. James Marshall.
Get off my plane, Ocean.
Okay, that takes us to our final in the second round. That's President Beck, Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact versus Dave.
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
One was a
Oh,
real president,
you
the other was
guys.
not.
true.
Our next president is coming into focus. I wish it was this easy. All right, here we go. How about President James Marshall versus President Beck, Morgan Freeman? Oh, sorry. Air Force One, Harrison Ford
Okay.
versus Deep Impact.
Deep Impact.
Deep Impact.
A plane versus a country?
And how about President Jed Bartlett versus Marcus Robbins?
Bartlett, because Marcus Robbins is Mark Cuban, right?
Yeah, that's Mark
Yeah,
Cuban.
yeah. So I'm gonna
please.
take Bartlett
I shouldn't
now.
even allow you to
Bartlett,
do that.
yeah.
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 And that puts our final winner, our final matchup, President Morgan Freeman or President Jed Bartlett, Martin Sheen in the West Wing.
Well,
Let's do opening argument. Ocean, you go.
Morgan Freeman was able to take the situation of in the movie, he's taking the situation of an asteroid is coming to Earth to then mobilize NASA and various other forces to create bunkers to save part of the population, and then still stayed on the surface, didn't go down to hide, stayed on the surface to try to help guide a scared world through a tragedy. And then once it was over, then came back out to then lead this newly scared world into reuniting and becoming and gelling together, as a world now, because our entire existence as humans was threatened.
That is wonderful.
And-
Are you doing an
yeah.
argument for and little Elijah Wood up that hill? So you're
Yeah.
are you doing one for both, or you're just
So, and then I think for Jeb Bartlett, I mean, he's just the smartest guy in the room. However, he was deceitful in hiding his disease from us
You
as
are a
Americans
super fan. That's right.
for several years of his first term. I mean, yes, we did eventually
What was
come
it? He
around
had
to
a
try to
bad case
forgive him,
of
but at the same
self-righteousness? I
time,
don't remember.
right? At the same time, he was kind of getting greedy for that brass ring. He wasn't necessarily staying out there to die with all of us in the world when the asteroids hit. So I think I'm going to lean toward.
Cannot
Morgan Freeman.
believe it's going this way. Oh wow,
That is
Tom.
So
really
what are your thoughts?
Well, I will say this. After watching the latest HBO Max reunion special that The West Wing released, they did a staged reading of an older episode involving voting and stuff.
The Hartsford's Ferry. Yes,
Yes.
great episode.
Ooh.
Great episode.
Mm-hmm.
However, the president isn't in it that much. It really is more focused on Josh Lyman's character, trying to get the couple in Connecticut to vote.
Correct.
So since
but
we're
they
voting
seem
for
to
the president, but not the staff.
Absolutely no, but what it reminded me of is that in the world of Aaron Sorkin, who I deeply love, the president is surrounded by 9 people who talk exactly like the president. As was latest seen in the Chicago 7, all 8 of them are the same person, just with different neckties.
Next week's draft is going to be for deputy chiefs of staff as
good.
portrayed on screen.
So
Don't
with
worry
that
about it.
in mind that he had the support of so many like-minded people, whereas Morgan Freeman can be seen as more of a team of rivals, referenced by ex-President Obama, who talked about team of rivals from Lincoln having differing points and having to persevere through them. I am also going with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact. This is unprecedented and exciting. I was the one screaming that Jed Bartlett would never be beaten, but unfortunately he lives in a world which is so wonderfully, but unfortunately, what's it called? Like overly virus and distraught free, because it is written by someone that is setting him up for victory.
Yeah.
Whereas Morgan Freeman was, again, smoking me if you got him, bitches.
I cannot believe it. That's amazing,
I'm surprised
you
too.
guys.
I
What
thought
a
Jed
great
Bartlett
case.
would be the winner as well. But
I really thought Jed Bartlett would win.
I honestly never even imagined that Morgan Freeman would make it in the final round. The fact that he's came out our winner, I thought it was going to be Harrison Ford and Jed Bartlett, and Bartlett would be the winner. That's what I thought. They are like
Harrison Ford
hero presidents. I'm very happy with how this happened.
You put them up on cool competitions. I agree with that. And Bartlett was shot, so that makes him a part.
I'm a little bit disappointed that Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho didn't make
was
it.
Was that really his name?
That was his full name.
His name.
Yeah.
That's amazing because they like electrolytes are what they crave. All right.
That was amazing. Let's go to the lists. Okay, the list we are talking about today, we went with, we're talking about Tentacles is the movie that we're talking about on the main show. It is a movie about an octopus, and octopuses don't have tentacles. They have arms. Trivia. We learned this. And so there are no tentacles in the movie Tentacles, in case you were wondering. But what they do have, amazingly, is a cast of characters and actors who are slumming it. What is John Huston doing in this movie? Don't worry, you won't have to ask yourself that question for long. He's gone in about 30 minutes.
Spoiler alert, as Werner would say.
And so we had to come up with a list of movies with actors who are in some way, shape, or form taken one for the check. And so they're slumming it in movies that are below where you think they should be for their stature. Now, this was hard for me to do because in some cases, I want to say the actor is slumming it when in fact it could just be a bad movie, right? Like it doesn't
that mean slum? Oh, you mean it turned out to be bad?
Yeah.
Not like he or she knew, or he knew that it was bad going in. It wasn't just a paycheck until they showed up and was like, Brett Ratner.
That's where I struggle. And there's another one that I have in here who was a really great actor who I think was slumming it, but I don't know if the actor was slumming it or if the producers of the film brought the actor in and didn't realize just how bad he'd gotten.
I think I actually might know who that is.
I think you might.
Yeah.
It's this one was high on my list, and I watched many clips of it today, and I regret it. I will never get that time back. So,
did it star a tiny penis person standing on a piano?
Well, let me just tell you what it is.
Got it.
Because I think I will open with that one. I'm pretty excited about it. It's one that I hadn't seen in a very, very long time. And since it's my turn, I will open the bidding with Marlon Brando in The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Woo! That is a bad movie.
To slurp up our drink, that is the law. It is a bad movie, and there is only one redeeming thing, and that's watching Marlon Brando get torn to pieces.
Yeah.
It's really bad. But do you know what I mean? Like, this is what I struggle with. In this case, I don't think Brando was lucid when he said yes to this movie. I don't know that he was even aware that he was slumming it when he said yes to this movie. So
the whole production was such a nightmare. There's actually a documentary about it from the writer about how Val Kilmer was a nightmare. Everyone was a nightmare. The director was barred from the set, snuck back on as an extra, and was an extra for the rest of the film. Amazing. That's a real tight production.
Wasn't there the bit where he said he needed that his character should wear a bucket on his head for a long form part of the movie, and that at some point it should be revealed that he's a dolphin? It was not great. It was not a great movie. So that's where I open Island of Dr. Moreau. Ocean, what do you got?
Opening.
Well, I did not have I had the same concerns you had, Pete, about it. Is it just turned out to be a bad movie, or were they really slumming it and doing below what they should have been doing, right? Below what you think of them. And also the one thing, the rule I did on the self-imposed is I said no sequels. Right, because you'll find I just removed sequels. Hard. I said because the sequel, those to me become easier that they're slumming it, because it's like, well, the first movie made a bunch of movie, they just backed up the Brinks truck and gave it to them, and they were like, hey, that's a lot of cash, right? So I decided to stay away from sequels, and then and I believe I found some that are not sequels, and we haven't discussed them yet on the show. So that was my third thing I was going for. So my first movie I'm opening with, and I'm not even going to tell you what the movie is at first. What I'm going to tell you is I'm going to read off credits, because what I did, I found a movie of where I don't feel we have one actor slumming it. We have more than one actor slumming it. The credits of the actors of some of the actors in this movie. One actor is in one of the stars of the Purple Rose of Cairo, stars of Crimes and Misdemeanors, star of Hannah and Her Sisters, and the star of Rosemary's Baby. And another actor in this, that's one actor in this movie. And then another actor in this movie is the main star of Lawrence of Arabia. And then yet another actor in this horrible, horrible movie is a star of Network, star of Bonnie and Clyde, and star of Chinatown.
Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway, that's right. So Lawrence of Arabia was Peter O'Toole, and the Purple Rose of Cairo Cousins, the other movies, that's Mia Farrow. All three of these actors are in a movie starring a newcomer actress called Supergirl.
Yeah.
And it is Supergirl in 1984.
Zaltair, Xantar, what was it?
The movie.
And he had that awful sweater.
Yes. No, the whole the makeup, the effects, the storyline, the acting, the chemistry, it's all awful. So unlike most movies when I'm talking about in this part of Saturday Matinee, these movies I'm going to bring up, if you haven't seen them, don't. And so this is a horrible movie, and it's horrible from start to finish in pretty much any way you can see it. I saw this as a child and recognized then I was watching some garbage. Okay. And as a child,
you were like, "I'm coming Saturday."
Exactly, yeah. And back then, I was easy pickings for anything with a superhero in it. But this movie, they grabbed all of those actors and all that star power and flushed it down the toilet.
Wow.
Well played. Well played. That nails it. That's every one of them are slumming it.
That there was a Supergirl movie. That's not even on my list at all. I love it.
All right, Tommy, what do you got?
My turn. Here we go. Great actors. Can we define that as actors that you've enjoyed in some movies? I say yes. I enjoy Matrix and parts of the other Matrix movies. And I also really love Memento by Jonathan, whatever his name is. Nope. Christopher, whatever his name it is. And that name is Nolan.
Nolan, yeah. Good.
I would like to give you, and it's because I know this because I went to this film premiere because I'm friends with the producer of it. And when I went to this premiere, I said, before the thing, I said, so how do you think it turned out? We're in the lobby of the thing. And he goes, This is the producer of the movie talking to a near stranger, and that's me. A movie that, if you've seen it, I'm sorry, and if you haven't, good job. Carrie Ann Moss starring in The Bye-Bye Man.
What?
Is that on anyone's list? It was a real release, and it came out. And there's actually another kind of big star in it, but I can't remember her name. So instead, I'm just going to go Carrie Ann Moss stars pretty much in one scene. They blew most of their budget on this one set piece, which is she's a detective showing up, and she's like, my God, it looks like it's the Bye-Bye Man. But of course, no one ever says it because you can't say it, think it. Don't say it, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it. It's the Bye-Bye Man.
Oh, my God.
This is a real movie. Are you looking it up?
I'm looking. It's a 4.2.
This is a real
Stacy
movie.
Title, written by Jonathan Penner and Robert Damon Schneck.
Yeah.
Based on The Bridge to Body Island.
What? Okay,
That's it. It's based on a book.
Okay. By book, I think they mean pamphlet. And by pamphlet, I think they mean fever dream. It is just really bad. It was a take on Sinister, like trying to make these new characters the new Freddy Krueger, and instead it's just a disaster. But Carrie Ann Moss is in this one really big part.
This is amazing. Doug Jones is in this movie.
Yes, I was going to say Doug Jones as the Bye-Bye Man.
Faye Dunaway is in this movie.
Oh, Faye Dunaway. That was the other big one.
Yes.
She's in one scene. I think she plays a psychic. And they blew their entire budget on two scenes, one with Faye Dunaway, one with Carrie Ann Moss. The movie is disaster. The lead is the cute brother from Big Love. I don't remember his name, but I've always kind of liked his work. And it's just really, really bad. Anyways,
wow.
The Bye-Bye Man. Enjoy, everybody.
Wow.
I have now made everyone. I've given everyone movie COVID. It is orally. It is AURLI transmitted, and you're all sick, and there's no test.
Wow, that's stunning. What a great pick. I can't wait to watch it.
It is wonderful.
I'm gonna follow your advice though.
So my next pick is one that I couldn't do it. What Ocean did. I couldn't do no sequels. I just couldn't, because as soon as I knew that this was what we were going to be talking about, I knew exactly what movie would absolutely be on the list.
I feel like I already, again, for the second time in a row, have a guess. Are teeth involved?
I don't know, man. Would you say...
Or a mouth?
You know, you haven't given me a chance to read any of my quotes.
Like a real wet
and
mouth.
You haven't.
Are they angry about a previous grievance that they're now going to... that they're now going
We all have the same movies. Okay, go ahead. I'm still not convinced.
I just can't. It is an angry, wet mouth.
Nice.
That follows one character from the original movie around the world across the sea, even though she was on a plane.
Yep.
I'm talking about Michael Caine in Jaws: The Revenge, everybody. It is actually, I'm proud to say that this movie actually is lower on the IMDb scale than The Bye-Bye Man. It is a straight 3.
If it makes you feel any better, because we've never talked about steals before, that's 2 you've stolen from me.
Really? Oh,
Marlon
you're
Brando
right.
And Michael Caine.
Oh, outstanding.
I overdid the list, so I still have more ththings coming.
Yeah, you got some good backups. That's good. Jaws of Revenge, it's been, I should say, it's been picked before. So I am, it's not a new pick to the list, but it's worth it. And this is probably its peak list picking right here. Even the shark is slumming it in this movie.
Speaking of the shark, do you know, and this honestly it occurred to me while I was writing down this for this week, is we all call the shark Jaws. Shark doesn't have a name. No one calls the shark Jaws. It's actually like it's like you just get used to a word and you're like, oh yeah, Jaws. It's a really stupid name for a shark movie or book.
Right.
Peter Bentley was like, what's scary? I don't know. Call it Dead Eyes? No. Call it Jaws.
That's right. It's like calling you Nose.
Yeah, it's calling the Bye-Bye Man the Bye-Bye Man. Either way.
It's terrible.
Good work.
That's my list. 1987, Jaws of Revenge. Ocean.
My next movie, one of the other rules that I self-imposed on myself was that the actor had to already be a big star when the movie was made. So that way, if it was something that they made a horrible movie, but it was their first or second movie in, they were still trying to make a career versus after. So this one I picked is, so the actor is Anthony Hopkins, and 3 movies after Silence of the Lambs, he signs on to a movie with the synopsis of bounty hunters from the future transport a doomed race car driver to New York City in 2009, where his mind will be replaced with that of a dead billionaire. And I'm talking.
Depending on which movie this is, I may have a point of order.
Okay, the movie is Free Jack. And
I do not have a point of order. Well done.
And it stars Emilio Estevez and Mick Jagger and Renee Russo.
It's a crazy movie.
And Anthony Hopkins. And if you haven't seen it again, don't. It also has the plot holes through this. You can drive a semi truck through the whole movie. It is a crazy futuristic movie because it was made in 1992. So in 2009, so 11 years ago, we had bounty hunters that could travel through time and yank people out just before they die. You would yank their body away and bring their body into the present, and then take their consciousness out of their body and put someone else's consciousness in. So after reading a plot this convoluted,
Anthony Hopkins said, "Yeah,
you know what? Let me put my Oscar down, and I'm going to sign up to do that."
It's futuristic, like the Lawnmower Man is futuristic.
Exactly. Yes.
It's not good. I was afraid that you were going to talk about Slipstream.
No, I've not seen that one.
Which it's a disaster, but he directed it.
Okay.
So I was going to be.
You were going to be all up in there.
Free Jack. I was going to be all up in there. Who was it?
Meryl Streep. I don't know.
No,
someone was up in there.
Viola Davis?
Viola Davis.
Yeah. No, Brene Brown.
It was Brene Brown. Nice. Well played. All right.
Thank you. Good pick, Free Jack. Yikes. That gives me an idea for another one. If I can remember. I have one ready because Pete's stolen all mine.
Okay.
Here is one that I have ready. I'm going to make it very quick. Adam Sandler.
Seriously?
Al Pacino. Jack and Jill.
Wow.
Al Pacino's in Jack and Jill. If you haven't seen the Dunkachino commercial, it's one of my favorite things in the entire world. And they even pause it afterwards. He's like, "You can never show this to anyone." So it seems like Al Pacino's above the joke, but he's not, because he's completely in love with Adam Sandler dressed as a girl. That's all. Sometimes you don't need to go into it. Jack and Jill, Al Pacino. I think he was maybe trying to catch into how Robert De Niro, just for showing up and acting sincere, now is seen as a comedic genius, which is wrong.
Yeah.
I think maybe he was trying to get into that. I don't know, but no good.
It's like, I mean, if anybody, I'm surprised nobody yet has picked Kill Grandpa, whatever the
right
De Niro.
Bad Grandpa.
No,
Bad
War
Grandpa.
on Grandpa.
War on Gramps. Yes.
Yeah. Talk about a movie that fits this list. Oh, that's right. Okay. That means it's my turn.
Here we go. Coming up on hour 2.
We sure are. My final movie is a movie that I regret to say I loved when it first came out, and I double regret to say that I've watched it again, and it's terrible. I can't believe how terrible it is, because I actually really like the people in this movie so much. It is a movie that foretold our AI virtual reality future. Did I get a triple steal out of you?
I don't know. Does it involve files?
You can't. No, that's not a slumming it movie. That was great. I loved that movie.
Really?
Really?
Give me more.
Yeah, disclosure. That's not a slumming it movie. If that better not be on your list, I'm going to be very upset. No, this is when things go much, much worse. Brett Leonard directed, Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, and Kelly Lynch. Pick whichever one you want to use who might be slumming it. It's Virtuosity. Virtuosity. That's right, 1995.
Real
Yeah, that movie.
When I said, "Oh, that reminds me," Free Jack reminded me of Virtuosity, but what I wrote down was Denzel Washington, someone else? Question mark. And it was Virtuosity because I haven't. Oh no, I don't have one. You've stolen 3, Pete.
That's
sort
amazing.
What does one do if they don't have one? Am I next?
Fails the
no,
list.
I'm next. So
no, Ocean's.
I'll vamp for a bit. So my last pick was the movie that in this movie, this was the movie that most was, I had the same conflict you had, Pete. Is it a bad movie or is the actor slumming it? And so what I did is I am now going to give you a quote from the actor that is in the movie discussing why they are in the movie. And now I'm going to parenthetically add the role, but this is a quote of this actor. I was offered a part in Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to add parenthetically Gandalf, but I read the script and I didn't understand it. So I said no. Then I was offered a role in The Matrix. Parenthetically, I'm going to add, it was Morpheus. But I read the script and I didn't understand it. So I didn't take the movie. So when the movie of this script came across my desk, I read it and I didn't understand it. But I said yes anyway.
Times.
Yes, because I didn't want to miss out on a massive franchise with a big, the big paycheck. So the actor that said this is Sean Connery. And the movie is his last movie that he ever made, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Wow.
Oh, man.
He was going to be Morpheus?
They offered him Gandalf and Morpheus, and he didn't understand them. So he said no, because he didn't understand the story.
Oh, man.
Wow, that hurts my heart a little bit because I wanted so much out of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I did not get it.
It was tough sledding.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Nice pick and great story. All right, Tommy, what do you got? You're not even, where'd you go?
Well, I'm looking at my movies.
He was going to make a movie. So,
I'm here, but I'm looking at my movies because you stole so much from me, Pete.
Wow. Has this happened before?
This is...
Has it?
Well, people have run out, but nobody feels quite so bad as Tom does right now.
Okay.
Usually they're just like, oh, well, I guess I'm done.
Okay, I have one, but I don't know if it's can count as slumming because I secretly kind of love this movie and I very much love this director, even though he's very maligned. I'm going to say, you know who I like? Kyle MacLachlan. You know who I like? Alan Rachins, who was in my movie, 30 Nights.
I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies ever. Yes. I know exactly what movie you're
Showgirls.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Paul Verhoeven, Showgirls. It, I think, is the first time someone set out to make a camp cult movie. And that worked. This movie is kind of weirdly beloved as a cult film now, and I love Gina Gershon in it. I love everyone, and the cast is really great. And so because Pete stole my heart and everything else, I'm going to go with Showgirls. I love Alan Rachins with my entire life, and I think Kyle MacLachlan is really interesting. Gina Gershon is fantastic. Elizabeth Berkley is also an actress. So with all of that said... For my third one, mostly it is a last-minute fill-in, but I'm going to say Showgirls. Thank you for writing it, and Pete, the end.
Nice. That's a nice pick. It's a nice... I'm not with both of you on that movie, but I totally get what it was trying to go for, and I get that nobody got the joke.
Yeah. It is Bye-Bye Man.
Do you think it was intentionally... This is news to me. Hang on. You think it was intentionally funny?
No, I think it was intentionally campy.
Yes. Okay. I think there was a certain style that they were going for, and nobody understood where it should... Nobody could categorize it, right? It was just a like for most people who saw it, it was like Saved by the Bell semi-porn, right? Like they never quite got the fact that there was, and I don't know what torpedoed it. I don't know why. It was like a real potpourri of things that got it, where it just got in the way of itself.
I think they treated it like a real picture, like a prestige picture, and instead it is trying to make camp for real.
Yeah.
Like on purpose. Paul Verhoeven, I think, knew what he was doing, because it's a lot of the same. It's very close to some of the satire he's used in RoboCop, in Starship Troopers. He's always got that line of, I'm in on the joke more than anyone else is in my movie. Casper Van Diem thinks he's putting in a Oscar-winning performance. And so does
he
Denise,
He's not.
Denise Richards in Starship Troopers.
Yes.
But Paul Verhoeven's
that's Paul Verhoeven's, like, his magic is being able to get actors who don't know that they're not in on the joke.
Wow.
That's what makes Starship Troopers so great. Again. And you have to read Starship Troopers to understand exactly the point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's run out of theater. Let's run out of theater. Yeah. You know what?
So
Cinemark. Again,
There's just two of
us. Yeah.
And we brought our own.
Exactly. We get a discount.
And you can't tell anyone.
So, wow.
Okay.
No,
this is a great list, you guys. Nice work of terrible movies. I'm going to watch them all. Next week, we have a real treat because we're continuing. You know, this is number 2 in our Aquatic Killers series. Now we've covered tentacles, so we had our octopuses.
Yep.
And now we're moving into the river basin. We're going to find some piranha. And this one was 1978's Piranha, directed by Joe Dante. And this one has the, of our entire list of movies, this one has the honor of being one of, well, Steven Spielberg said, of the Jaws ripoff movies, this one's the best. So that's what we have to deliver. Have you guys seen Piranha 1978?
I've seen both Piranha 2 and all of the reboots.
Yeah, the 3D and the 3 Double D. And
Piranha 2, The Spawning, was, I think, notable because James Cameron was one of the...
he was fired, and Ovidio Asinitis came in to finish it, and there was problems with that one. But yes, he was involved in that. So anyway, that's the movie we're talking about. Ocean, you haven't seen Piranha?
No, I've seen it. When I saw it, I was definitely too young to watch it, because it actually kind of scared me a little bit at the time. I think I was in high school, and they seeing piranhas, coming to eat and everything like that. So then, of course, that's my entire, because I'm growing up in Tennessee, so we don't have there's not we don't have a lot of water around, and so it's like, well, I'm sitting here thinking, well, this is what happens with piranhas, that you get in the water and they eat people.
Yeah. In a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like
in a
people
minute.
and
They
cows.
just come and just eat you up. So,
yeah. And that poor camp counselor. Oh, so sorry for her. Anyway, this movie, I think this movie gets a lot of things right, and we have a great conversation about it. And so we have a set of list options that I'd love to run by you and see if you have any more to add to the catalog, so we can pick our 3.
I might come up with 1 or 2 of my own. But
do you think you might? How about this? You're on a raft that actually falls apart and leads you to your peril. A raft that falls apart, somehow making that cinematically important. How about living in isolation in the mountains? This is your real mountain man, isolated curmudgeon character. We've got to have some isolated mountain people. All right,
that was kind of specific.
I have one. What about, like, it's a base? No, it's a government base. No, it's a secret government base. It's either closed or not.
Outstanding.
So
I think that's a great
secret
pick.
Government bases. That's cool.
Yeah, because this one, the whole thing starts, there's a secret government base where they're researching these
like the Arrowhead
animals.
Project in the Mist.
Yes, just like that. Okay. This one is Razor Teeth. Summer camps with lakes. That's believe me, the field is wide open for summer camp with lakes. How about how long can you hold your breath movies?
I think that would be more characters who hold their breath a ridiculously long amount of time. Like seems unrealistic. Yeah. So I'm trying to think how to phrase that.
There's a job. I feel like there's a job you have to do underwater that requires feats of human breath holding strength.
Do you guys ever do what I do? Is that when you hold your breath along with the character to see how long you can do?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes, absolutely.
I
Oh,
do that too.
100%.
And I rarely make it because they're holding their breath for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes. And last we have, this is one of my favorite. I think it's going to be, we're going to keep this on until somebody picks it, which is the killer animal POV.
Killer
POV.
Killer animal.
Well, it is. I'm adding animal to it. I'm amending the suggested category.
Can I already give you, because I won't be on the next one, can I give you my personal pick? Because I don't think anyone would ever know about it or pick it.
Well, here's the problem with that, Tom. You are on the next one.
I am?
Yeah, you're scheduled for next week. So you're picking for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good one because it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Made by a very famous director, but it was his first movie before anyone knew who he was. Okay.
So don't say it.
All right.
And I'll see you next week.
All right.
So we're picking 3 of these.
I like the
killer animal. And then, well, there's the last one, which is death by lots of small animals, like swarm death, animal death.
That's what gets me. I'm less afraid of sharks and more afraid of piranhas.
That's why piranhas.
It puts that ant thing for me.
That's right.
It's about swarms. I'm not afraid of them! ! Them. I'm afraid of little ants. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
So what do we got? What are your favorite 3 of this list, or do you have
I
more?
would like to put killer POV. I would like to suggest that.
Killer animal POV.
3. Yeah.
Excellent.
I like the how long you can hold your breath. So I don't know if you want to do frame.
How would you like to change that phrasing?
The phrasing, because my phrase is too long, right? Because my phrase is
unrealistic breath holding.
There it is.
Unrealistic breath holding. That's fun.
Should we say underwater specifically? Because this is tied to an underwater event.
Well, does it have to be underwater? Because there are some.
Because it could be in space.
There are some movies where they are unrealistically holding their breath and not in water.
If you're okay with it, I would say just unrealistic breath holding and let it be just the lack of oxygen. Right. But it's okay. But it's up to you, Pete.
No, it's good. Unrealistic breath holding.
Yeah.
And then for number 3, how do you feel about
my vote? But Pete, you haven't had a vote yet.
Oh, I haven't had a vote yet. Well, I'm definitely going with secret government bases.
Me too. That's what I wanted. I love Project Arrowhead in the Mist.
Don't say that anymore because you're on the show next week.
Oh, sorry. I just reread The Mist. So I love secret government bases.
Well, put your trailer in now, Tommy. That way you're guaranteed to go first and no one can take that movie from you.
Ocean. Shut it.
Never works.
Ocean.
Never works.
Stop.
I'm always
Stop.
host 3.
I'm muting you.
3 till I die.
Do you want to vote? He did an East Side. Yeah, he's great.
I'm host 3 till I die. Yeah.
Do you want to vote on next week's list challenge? Sure you do. Head over to the Show Talk channel in the Next Reel's Discord community. You can lend your vote to the chaos that is list picking and movie sabotage each week. Do you see how terribly Tommy performed this week? You could help him perform equally bad next week.
How dare you?
You want to know how you get into the Show Talk channel? It's easy. You just head over to patreon.com/thenextreel and become a paying listener supporter of the Next Reel family of podcasts. For $5 a month, you become a concessionaire supporter. You get access to the show live streams, early access to the shows as we record them, and of course, you're in the Discord community to hang out with us and our other friends and movie lovers there. It's a great place, a great and happy place. Lots of super secret member channels over there in Discord. So we sure appreciate your help and support. You know, we've got shows dropping every single day of the week. And as soon as Marvel Movie Minute starts up again, season 3, that's 2 shows a day. That's 10 shows a week. What are we doing?
What more do you want from us?
We really appreciate your
I already told you about
support.
the bye-bye man.
And thank you, everybody, for hanging out for this epic Saturday matinee. Ocean's good to see you, buddy.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Pete.
Tommy, you're all right.
Hit or miss. I get it.
It's kind of
better luck next time. I get it.
I'll see you next week.
Till I die.
We'll try it again. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Good day.